Alrighty, good Saturday. So I am going to attempt my pie crust today. So we're going to start out by putting 2 cups of flour. Don't mind the kitchen, I've been canning and doing all that. I need to do a deep clean on it today. There's 1.5 cups. And that makes 2 cups. Alrighty. And this is going to be blackberry pie, actually, that I'm going to make. My cat decided to wake up, so now he's going to bug me. Alright, and then we need 2 teaspoons of salt. I got this recipe off of Whippoorwill Holler. I think it's Whippoorwill Holler. It's a lady from down south. She seems like a really nice lady, and so it's her recipe. I kind of trust her just by the way she cooks things, so I'm going to follow hers. And then 2 teaspoons of salt. And the other ones you had to refrigerate and do all kinds of stuff with, and I'm not into all that. I don't want to be waiting an hour for it to cool down and all that good stuff, and yeah, it's just crazy to me. So we're gonna mix all that stuff together. She did hers by hand. So did my grandma. She didn't have one of these. And we're gonna try it in this and see how it works. It looks great. So now it says to use 2/3 cup of shortening. I kind of wanted to find a recipe that had the shortening because that was closest to my grandmother's recipe because she used shortening. And let me tell you, my grandma was like a prize-winning person when it came to pies. That woman could, oh, you guys, you have no idea. Whoops, that's too high. I have flour everywhere. So we kind of want it to get kind of where it's a little bit clumpy. So that'll say that when it's ready. I'm actually going to use it to do my bread again today, so we'll see. Because the bread, honestly, you guys, was so tasty. I really want to do it again. Now I know what I got, different things I have to do. It was my first time, so. Alrighty. Make sure it's a little bit clumpy there. I told my husband, I see why people buy the pie crust at the store. Because, like, you listen to some of them, you got to put them in the refrigerator for an hour. You got to put them in a oval, and you got to do this, and you got to do that. And I'm like, holy God, I might as well just buy one, honestly. All right, so we're going to mix it just a little bit more. She said don't play with it too much. And then she said slowly add your water, because some days, depending on the weather, you may not need all the water, and she didn't. I have air conditioning in here, but it's 95 degrees outside. And I kind of learned with my bread, yeah, don't add all the water, it says right away. Because otherwise you have a mess. I don't think this is going to take all the water either, to be honest. We will see here. Just 1 second. Alright, let me lower lower this down a little bit. Believe it or not, it's coming together already. Let me push everything down. Then my sister can tease me again today for using the machine. For those of you that don't know, my sister is Nessa's Nook. You can go over and check her out. She does a lot of the gadget cooking, which I don't do. I think I'm just going to put just a tad bit more water in there. Actually, looks pretty good. Kind of glad that I did all the potato salad and egg salad stuff yesterday for my husband, because I'm sure that factory today is burning up hot. So I'm sure he'll be glad for something that's chilled to eat tonight. I'm just going to mix it just a little bit more. I'm not doing a deep pie crust either, because I'm not sure how much filling that my my stuff will take. So hopefully it doesn't overfill. If it does, I'll make up a little bit more crust and make some those, what do they call them, popovers or whatever they're called. Put all this stuff over there. It's been a long time since I had to roll out a crust, you guys, so be patient with me. So we're going to lift this up. Alright. I'm going to have one heck of a mess to clean up. I honestly probably have not done a pie crust since I was probably 25, maybe. I used to do homemade pies. Well, I was probably older than that. Probably about 30. I used to do pie crust with my ex-husband. They had a big family. And so I would make homemade pies. The guys didn't know what to think because they hadn't ever had one. Because everybody just brought frozen pies. And I didn't. So, probably since I was about 30, I haven't made a pie. Alright, so we're going to put some flour out on the countertop here. Spread that out. And I'm going to put flour on my rolling pin. I'm using the wooden one today. See if that works any better. I'm going to grab all this dough and the little pieces too. Alright. And this is why my kitchen is a mess. And she says not to work it too much. But you know, you want to make it so that you can actually roll it out. So, what do I do with my divider over there? Okay. Because I definitely want a top on my pie. I did a double crust. So we're going to put that one off to the side here. She does this thing where she does a quarter turn and then another quarter turn. Let's see how good I am at that. But she says not to put too much flour on because, so she says go out and then out. Turn it a quarter, go out and then out. My crust is already falling apart. Out and then out. Turn it again. I'll be lucky I get it thin enough to go in the pie tin. without being so ugly that, but I guess the bottom one really doesn't matter because nobody sees it anyway. Yes, I hear you, Jazz. My cat thinks because he's awake during the day that I should be attending to him and not to anything else. I've never seen, we have 2 cats, and they are so needy. Like, I've never seen 2 cats that love so much attention as they do. They absolutely love it, and they can't get enough. I don't know if that'll fit in my pan here or not, but we'll find out. So we're going to roll it up over. Yes, Jazz, I hear you. So does everybody else. So I didn't push it in there far enough, I guess. So it made it in the pan. I guess that's a start. So now we're going to kind of mold it to it. I tell you, I wished I would have had my grandma's recipe. She used to cook for a auction service over in Trufen years and years ago. It's up north. And she baked pies. She did all kinds of stuff for them over there with the baking. And I'm telling you, nobody could bake a better pie than my grandma. She did an awesome job. But back then, they made everything, you know what I mean, by scratch, and it was just amazing. I know what I forgot now. So then, you want to take your fork and put a few holes in the bottom so that it can air out. All right, and I know what I forgot now. I forgot a can opener. See, I'm on the opposite side of my kitchen today, so I couldn't just reach in the drawer and grab it. Alright, so then we're going to put the pie filling in there. Maybe. There we go. Oh yeah, I'm glad I did the skinny one and not the full deep pan, because I don't think it would have been very full. But doesn't it look good, you guys? Oh, I tell ya, I think it looks amazing. My husband tried it on waffles one day, and he's like, that is so good. So there's the part of the pie. Now we're going to do the top. Hopefully it turns out. Maybe I could have added more liquid, I think. But I didn't want it to get to be too weird, you know. So we will see how this works, because it kind of cracks and falls apart. So I think I could have used more milk or more water. But you know, honestly, till you do it, you never really know, right? I mean, you just don't. And if I fail, I fail. I would much rather have you guys see me fail than to have everything be so successful, and then, you know, you're like, if something didn't happen and it failed for you, you'd be like, what'd she do that I didn't do? You know what I mean? And let's get real, you know? We all have flops and things that don't taste very good, and, well, it just stuck. You know what I mean? So it's like, we all fail. I've done it several times, believe me. I mean, generally, my food turns out good, you know. There's been a few things I've made that, like the other day I was teasing you guys. It's not just because I said it was tasting good that it really did. Because if it was a sure fail, I would tell you. I'd be like, that was gross. And let's not do that again. I always tell my husband, let's say we did and don't. How's that? Say we did and don't. Yeah, I definitely think I could have added more water, but I was so, like, concerned about how my bread, you know, was driving me crazy because I'd put too much water in it. So I didn't want that to happen again. And you know what? If it doesn't spread out far enough, I can just put it over the center of the pie. That's no big deal. People do it all the time, right? Let's turn it a little bit. Yeah, I definitely did not put enough water in here because it's cracking apart like crazy. But I bet you one thing, the pie's not going to care about that. It's still going to taste good. Boy, is it falling apart like crazy. But I guess that'll be a good thing because it means it'll be flaky, right? Alright, we're just going to do this now. And I'll stretch it to what I need it to be when it gets on there. Maybe. Alright, well, let's do it this way then. Let's just sit it on top of it. Tear that piece off. Kind of go like that. And like that. This will be fine. I can never pull my pie out right anyway, so it'll be just fine. Alright. So we're going to kind of join it with the other one. Everybody will think I did patchwork on it. Look at the design that Chris did. That's what it'll be. A cool design. And I guarantee you my husband will not care what the pie crust looks like. Because he'll just be happy for blackberry pie. And I can bet your husband's girlfriends, whatever your situation might be, they won't care either. Alright. So now, I'll fill a couple spots in there. What did I do with my fork? There it is. I don't think I need to cut any slits on it because where it didn't all come together, it'll be slitted. Maybe I should do a couple slits anyway. Alrighty. And then I'm going to put it on a baking sheet because in case it overflows, you don't want it all over your oven. So I'm going to put it on a baking sheet and put it into the oven until the crust looks like it's done, and that'll be about 30 minutes or so. I will bring you back and show you what our mangled pie looks like. Next time I'll know to add more water and not to be so afraid of it. Alright guys, I'll see you in a little bit. Well, there's the pie. It's not the most pretty for my first pie crust, but I bet you it'll taste just fine. And I got 2 loaves of bread rising. And I'll come back and do something else. Have a great day and be a blessing.